This podcast is brought to you by Molten Balls, official ball of the UPSL. Hey footy fans, this is Dennis Pope and you're here with the UPSL Podcast. I'm joined by Art Eftekari.
What's up?
And we have a big interview this week. We're talking to Zane Cook. He's president of AMF USA. They have a new affiliation with UPSL to bring futsal to the Midwest and the Northeast, so we're excited to talk about that.
Then we'll also talk about Pan American FC. They have just been promoted to the UPSL Pro Premier.
We're also going to talk a little bit about Jan Squar's big trip down to Atlanta, where he spoke to the Caribbean Soccer League about joining the UPSL.
And, of course, we will take your questions from Twitter.
All that and a little bit more on this episode of the UPSL Podcast. All right, we're back. So, Art, what do you know about futsal?
Well, I know it is played indoors. It's popular in other parts of the world, but definitely not in the United States.
And on the line, we have Zane Cook. He's the president of AMF USA. They're the sanctioning body for what will become UPSL futsal. Zane, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, Dennis.
So tell us a little bit about this affiliation that AMF USA and UPSL are developing.
Well, basically, we are offering AMF futsal to all 4 time zones, thanks to the affiliation with UPSL. Jan Squara and Paul Lapointe primarily will be heading up the UPSL Futsal League. My job in all of that is mostly consultation, accreditations, and sanction, basically. So we'll help get referees sanctioned, offer coaching accreditations, make sure regulatory stuff is all in check and in place, and we're going to play some good futsal.
Has this been tried before on this level in the United States?
No, it has not, actually. There are a couple of fledgling leagues, I would say, that are out there that are trying to do something in a professional or semi-professional way, but the fragmented nature of futsal right now in the United States it is tough right now. It's mostly tough for investors to get involved, and because of that reason, sponsorship and people who want to put real funding and fuel into this have a hard time. So, just like semi-pro soccer and all of the politics that go on there, we're dealing with the same thing in futsal. However, futsal in America is commonly understood as an exercise program for outdoor players, and we're here to not change that, but bring about the original game in the original modality and offer up a pipeline to true sanction, true World Cup, national team status, you name it. So under that, we'll be supporting youth, we'll be supporting men and women at both the semi-pro and the professional level.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about, a little bit about the nuts and bolts of what this could mean for some of the UPSL clubs, especially in the Northeast.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just means that they now have a pipeline, another option, especially for their off season, where it's cold and maybe not a lot of outdoor play happening. The local facilities, you could get involved with what we're going to start up as a D League, and then moreover the Division II League, which will be basically the UPSL futsal. This just gives an option for the avid footballer, whether it's indoor, outdoor, futsal, to have a place to go and play and actually be able to take it to the next level should they want to.
What is the next level for American futsal?
Well, next level will be, being selected for World Cup. The AMF is a world governing body of futsal, has been for virtually 90 years, and the original game started in Uruguay with FEFUSA, and after some time changed its name to AMF, who is the original predecessor to the FEFUSA game, the original futsal game. And it's not FIFA 5. FIFA 5 got involved in I should say FIFA got involved with AMF in the 80s and basically tried to take that game. So there is a big difference and a big misunderstanding between the two sports. Five-a-side or FIFA 5 is the FIFA version of the game and does not have proper sanction or proper pipeline for a true World Cup. And that goes down a whole nother rabbit hole, I should say. However, what we have with the AMF is a true World Cup, fully sanctioned, and we have the pipeline to build national teams here in America and then get involved in World Cups, World Games, and eventually the Olympics.
And when is the next futsal World Cup?
The men's futsal World Cup is 2019. 2018, this year in November, we'll be taking a U20 delegation to Colombia, Bogota, Colombia. And then just this last year in 2017, I took the women's national team to Catalonia, Spain. We took 7th there, so that was pretty cool.
That sounds amazing and an unbelievable opportunity maybe for some UPSL players.
That's right.
How long before we see UPSL affiliated AMF futsal?
Well, we are already launching the Pro-Am division, which will be the AFL, or the American Futsal League, and we're in the preseason for that now, and we'll be kicking that off. Legitimately, the season will start in mid-May. Now, that is not directly linked to UPSL. However, that is a sanctioned league. That would be at the top of the pyramid of the pipeline. Should you start at the base of that and move your way up through the UPSL futsal, if you follow. So the UPSL futsal will start roughly in December, I think is what Paul had in mind. And should you want to try out for other clubs that are involved in the AFL, you would have that opportunity, of course. And also in, once again, structuring and selections being held for, for national team.
Now we're here in Southern California. Do you think futsal will ever reach a pinnacle here in SoCal?
I don't know. SoCal's tough because, playing outdoor is easier to do all year round, right? So I think definitely there's already futsal happening down there. La Famiglia, for one example, the Legends. There's Sacramento Anthem. There's a bunch of teams that play down there in the area and in Redwood area. So it's difficult. It's difficult to say, but I think as the popularity of the sport picks up from the East Coast all the way out to the West Coast, I think we're going to see a change in that. The West Coast here in the Northwest, in regard to Seattle and Portland, Idaho, it's pretty regular, pretty regular deal. Everyone's playing every night, everywhere up here. So we're looking forward to some more serious competition and serious club play coming out of that area. And there's definitely, the energy is there. It's just next, getting the season to function regularly or to just have that regular funding. Yeah.
Of course. And what's the ideal space to hold the futsal?
Well, the ideal space is your typical basketball gym, quite honestly. There's a lot of people putting stock into the sport courts and all of this kind of thing, but in my opinion, the technical quality basketball gym, Maple Hardwood Gym, is where it all started. And in my opinion, no reason to leave that space. If you have a nice basketball gym, you're in great shape. A professional-sized basketball court, roughly 60 feet wide by roughly 115 feet long or so, is a great space for playing any level of futsal. Now, if you're playing youth or women or recreation, maybe you drop it down a couple sizes. Not going to hurt anything. In the smaller space you play in, the better the touches, the quicker the pass and move. A lot of these things play into that. But anyway, the best space I think available is the regular basketball gym. Again, especially college or professional size.
That makes sense. And now my last question. I notice in other countries, France, South America, futsal athletes are massive. They're as important as the players who play outdoor almost. And I think that's part of the game, that the United States is missing. What's it going to take to get a recognizable futsal player here in the States that kind of carries the torch for at least a little bit?
That's a longer question, or a longer answer, I should say.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the struggle between FIFA and AMF that there is, or there was. What's happening now is without having the proper structure in place to support that player, it makes it very difficult for that player to reach a spot and help to move the sport into the limelight. There is an awful lot of players out there who are not getting the opportunity because of fragmentation and registration grabbing and this sort of thing. A lot of people suffocating information for one reason or the other. But the short answer is, once people recognize the original game and they recognize the significance of the history and the fact that there's 65 countries involved in this, it's just going to take a little time for the consciousness to shift. Once that happens, I think you're going to see a very vast landscape change. I don't know if that really, that's a long, drawn-out answer that we probably don't have time for here. But basically, once the structure is in shape, it will support the player, and then the popularity of the sport will be there, and it'll be streamlined for everyone to play the game the same way. And I have big dreams for what we're doing here with the UPSL and what we're doing with the AFL and AMF USA, that we will bring about the education process for the rest of the world to, show us the way here in America, because we've been dormant or hibernating for 40 years, I'd say. Yeah.
That's Zane Cook. He's bringing big things to American futsal. Zane, thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks a lot, Dennis.
Talk to you soon.
And when we come back, we'll talk about Pan American FC and how they won the promotion final. Hey everyone, something unusual just happened. 5-time Celebrity Jeopardy champion Sean Connery has just walked in to the UPSL Podcast studio.
Hello there. This is Academy Award winner, 5-time Celebrity Jeopardy champion, and #1 Scotland soccer fan, Sean Connery, reminding all of you that losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and listen to the UPSL podcast. Not doing so will leave you shaken and not scared.
Thanks again for stopping by, Mr. Connery.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-lang-a-lang. Want to call you on the telephone, baby. I give you a ring.
All right, so Commissioner Jan Squara made the trip down to Atlanta this past weekend, met with members of the Atlanta Caribbean Soccer League. It was a very important meeting for the league overall, and the commission was able to secure a group of new teams for the Atlanta area for the springtime. Art, what do you think of UPSL Atlanta?
I like it. The league is continuing to expand. It's hard to find something negative. That's all I could say right there. And I just, one league at a time, different parts of the country, and it's just getting better and better from what it sounds like.
Yeah, the Atlanta Caribbean League, they were previously unaffiliated from what we understand, but the UPSL is bringing them into the fold. They've been around for 20, 25 years, some pretty prominent teams overall, and the question will be whether or not this is more like a move like the PLA, in which all the teams join the UPSL, or perhaps another sort of system will be worked out, perhaps where the league's champion will be promoted, like we've talked about before with Maryland Majors. What do you think might be the best scenario for this league at this time?
At the moment, it's hard for me to really come up with an answer with that. I think just getting the league involved and getting the other teams involved in the UPSL, first and foremost, is the best way to go. See who wins that league, see which teams are the best, and take it from there.
Yeah, right. Atlanta's a massive market, top 10 market in the United States. So anytime a league can get into that kind of market, it's going to be a big deal. The UPSL stands to benefit from this. Atlanta's this cultural center of the South, in many respects. Certainly it's the media hub of the South and the transportation hub of the South, so it's an important destination for one of the biggest regions in the country. There's a lot of positivity down there for the UPSL. The Southeast Conference is growing like crazy, and having a quality group of teams that are ready and willing to be a part of the UPSL's pro-rel model is an important step in any region of the country. I think this is a good move.
And Pan American FC was just promoted to the UPSL Pro Premier. And Dennis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Miguel Mendoza of Pan American FC had an awesome goal. Basically one that you would expect to see on SportsCenter.
Yeah, it was a highlight moment for sure. And it was the UPSL's first game on MyCuju. MyCuju is now the official streaming partner of the UPSL, and the promotion final between Pan American and Tiburones Rojos USA was the first game on MyCuju. Miguel Mendoza in the second half hit a 40-yard lob over the keeper, caught Tiburones' keeper sleeping a little bit, and Pan American ends up winning 4-2 to get promoted. A massive, massive deal for their club. Can't speak enough about the job that they did in finishing in fourth in the championship division, making their way through the playoff and winning the game in style, right, over Tiburones. So hats off to Pan American, hats off to Miguel Mendoza, man. What a heck of a goal. Hopefully there'll be more highlights like that to come on MyCuju.
And you talked about that goal, of course, and it was an awesome goal, but what can you say about that goal in terms of momentum?
Well, it made the game 3-2, so it turned out to be the game-winning goal of the match, and it meant everything, to Pan American's effort in that game. And I think once you see a goal like that scored against you, and you know the weight of the game, that probably was the nail in the proverbial coffin for Tiburones. How do you come back from getting Beckham'd from 40 yards out? That doesn't happen very often. So, yeah, it was a heck of a goal, heck of a strike. And least I forget, Duncan Bocaciccio on the call for the UPSL on MyCuju did a fantastic job. You should go back. It's on all the accounts. UPSL Podcast, everyone's linked to it because it's such a fantastic goal. Go out there and find it. Listen to Duncan's call. He did a really great job.
And when we come back, we will take your questions from Twitter.
Do you want to advertise with the fastest growing pro development league in the country? Advertise with the UPSL. You'll reach more than 70 different soccer markets in more than 20 different states. For more information, go to upslsoccer.com or follow UPSL on Twitter at UPSL Soccer.
All right, we're back now. It's time for questions from Twitter, and the first one we got here comes from FC Greeley's account on Twitter, and their question is, will championships move to regional structure now that we soon will be Tier 1 nationwide league?
The UPSL will continue to have a national championship twice a year. There's 2 seasons, spring and fall, and the UPSL intends on maintaining the integrity of those championships. Now, each conference will have their conference champion or representative at the UPSL National Championship, so each region will have a championship and a champion, so to speak, but that won't be the final championship for UPSL. All those region champions still will be heading to a UPSL National Championship, ideally.
Next one comes from IE Galaxy on Twitter. Their question is, where is the UPSL app?
That's a good question. What would an app give the league? Art, what do you think? What would be the benefits of an app?
Well, I would say that since there's so many teams now in the UPSL, if you want the UPSL schedule of games from your smartphone or your mobile device, I could see that being helpful. Or maybe there can be highlights put on the app, or even latest news involving the league.
Is it better or more informative than the website as it stands currently? Would an app improve the overall UPSL experience?
Well, you need to ask probably an IT guy, and it depends on the app.
No doubt, no doubt. Anything else for us?
Yes, out of all the teams that have been joining the UPSL lately, which team stands out to you the most?
Without a doubt, it's Bragg FC, based in North Carolina at Fayetteville and associated with the Fort Bragg Army base there. Specialist Jose Lopez and Captain Kyle Ferfari have really put together a winning program there. They won the Defenders Cup National Military Soccer Tournament in 2016, and they really look to be a program on the rise.
And that's it for this edition of the UPSL Podcast. For Dennis Pope, I'm Art Iftikhari. We'll see you next time, everybody.